It is awfully loose, so it might be time for a new one. Okay, what we have here is a PV rotor EXP. EXP meaning Explorer. And the complaint with this one is that it has a jack issue, that it cuts out. So let's see what we got here. Not cutting out for me. It is making some weird noises though. So it is awfully loose, so it might be time for a new one. But we're going to get it apart and check it out, see what's going on. Okay, we were set up, nicely perched, this weird shaped guitar. First thing we're going to do is take off the jack plate and the pot cavity cover here. Let's see what we got. I had a hard time getting the cavity cover off of the pot access, and so I had to use the controversial hot glue method. Okay, so what I found is that all the pots are, the soldering and connections and all that are good, just fine. This connection here is okay, the soldering is fine, no problem with that, but I did figure out what the issue is. So I'm going to zoom in here so I can show y'all, hopefully. I hope you can see it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Let's see, I'll use this to point at it. If you can see this little tiny strand here. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's not in with the grouping there of strands. Apparently when this nut came loose, the owner tried to tighten it up, which probably spun this in such a position that when you plug it in, and let's turn on the amp real quick. The little strand makes connection with the jack there and shorts it out. So we are going to replace the jack and make sure that that nut's nice and tight so it doesn't have that problem anymore. We're going to put this one on it. Nice clean brand new jack that I had in my stash. So let's get busy, get this thing off my plate. Okay, got my soldering iron warmed up. This is the easy part, especially with this one. There's a I usually like to run the wire through the hole. Apparently no one else likes to do that. So it's a very easy part. Getting it desoldered. Okay. So before I put this, resolder it, I want to make sure that all my strands are wrapped up And I may even want to take and see that wad of solder on there, groom it a bit, and even the solder out. I don't have to take it off there necessarily. I want to even it out because I'm going to be putting it through the hole in the new one. So, one thing to note here, if you look at the angle of the connectors here, the wires, these on the old one are bent in as compared to these. So I'm going to try to keep them as far out as possible. It is a rather small hole, but I think it'll fit with just a little bit of bending, maybe no bending at all. So I will get the new one mounted to the plate, and then we'll get on with the soldering. Alright, when mounting the jack to the plate, I want to make sure first of all that this inner nut is cinched down, bottomed out really well. And then I will put the lock washer on there. And then the plate. Then I will put a nice, clean, new black washer on there. And then the outer nut go on there. And I'm assembling this first so I don't have to try to do this and put any pressure on the wires when I put it together. So if the wires were soldered already, I wouldn't be able to do as good of a job of making sure that this is nice and tight and not going to come loose again. So I want to make sure I'm orienting it the correct way and give it a nice tight torque down there, and hopefully that'll hold it for a couple of days, and then I will set up for soldering. Okay, we're just about ready to solder. Just gotta get the wires on there, but if you'll notice, I put little hooks on the ends of the wires so that I can just take and hook them on there. I'll do the bigger one first. Hook them on there. And I can actually even take some blue tape here, the infamous blue tape, and wrap it around so it holds them on there nice and tight. And now I am prepared to solder. I'm going to go ahead and crimp this hook down a little bit. Oh, of course, I've gently mounted the plate to the guitar through one of the original holes there, obviously. And yeah, so it's easier to work with that way. Now, if I can just figure out what I did with my solder. And I like to rip off a little piece of it so I don't have to hold the whole container, this whole thing. So anyway, first thing you want to do, of course, sponge it. You can't see this, but I got a little sponge here. Oops, there we go. To clean it up a little bit, and then you want to carefully, without burning yourself, tin it, and then start heating your dealio here. one. I want to fill the hole if possible. I want to take and groom the wire that was a problem before. Make sure we don't have any strands coming off it again. Put a little solder up to where the sheath is, where the insulation is. And that's about it. Time to go back together. Okay, we're all back together again. And nice tight fit. It doesn't wiggle around any more than it should. And it even works from what I recall. Yes, it works just fine. Shut up. Okay, kind of failed to mention that the reason I take the potentiometer cover off is not just to examine the connections inside of there. It's also to have access to the wire so that I can gently and methodically pull it through and tuck it in real nice into the cavity there, so it doesn't get bound up and coiled up inside the hole. That's it for this one. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.